This story takes place during my childhood, when I often stayed with my grandmother in the village. Her old house stood on the edge of the village, right next to the forest. My grandmother always told me not to go outside at night and to keep the windows closed, especially during a full moon. I thought it was just typical grandmotherly fears until something happened that changed my life forever. It was a hot July night. I woke up thirsty and went downstairs to get some water. The moonlight poured into the room through the window, and at that moment, I heard singing. A beautiful woman's voice came from the direction of the forest. The melody was so enchanting that, almost hypnotized, I approached the window. At the edge of the forest stood a woman in white. Her long hair was flowing, though there was no wind. She turned towards me and waved her hand, beckoning me to come. I almost opened the window, but suddenly I heard the creak of the floorboards. My grandmother had entered the kitchen. "Don't look at her!" she screamed, quickly drawing the curtains. But I managed to see. What I thought were flowing locks of hair was actually a swarm of bats circling her head. And when she waved her hand, her fingers were too long, too thin, resembling tree branches more than human fingers. My grandmother spent the entire night burning herbs and reciting prayers. The next morning, she told me about the forest maiden, a creature that lures people into the woods with her singing. No one who had gone after her had ever returned. A month later, my grandmother passed away, and I still sometimes wake up at night to the sound of a beautiful song. But now I know, never look out the window when the full moon is shining, because she's still waiting for me out there, at the edge of the forest, and her hair is still swirling in the moonlight. Want to know the scariest part? Recently, my son told me he hears a song coming from the forest.